All right, we are back on another episode of the Oh None Demand Everything podcast. I have the one and only Dr. Lavelle Faulkner. What's good?
Man, bro, it's a pleasure to be here with you, man. It's an honor. Yes, sir.
Yeah, like we live and direct now. There's been a lot of new things going on, a lot of new transitions, and the same mission but different decor, I guess. So, what's going on your side of the fence right now, primarily?
Well, I tell you, it's a lot easier to tell you what's not going on
Mm-hmm.
than what is going on. I'm hoping a lot of people are paying attention. We are actively trying to make sure that our communities are aware of what's going on with our elections coming up,
Mm-hmm.
making sure that we get that information and that knowledge out. Definitely making sure that it's imperative that we get our culture, our community out to vote, and not just voting, but knowledgeably voting for the right people that are going to serve us, serve our community, and get the things done that we're doing. Outside of that, I recently became the dean of students of IPay, Midwest Bible College.
That's what's up.
So
Break that down. So, what does iPay for people that don't know, so they can aware of what it offers and what the benefit of it?
absolutely. Well, IPay itself is a network, and it stands for the International Pentecostals Assembly Ecumenical of all faiths, for those that don't know what ecumenical means. But yes, IPay, we have a full network where the network is pretty much our community. Outside of that community, with that network, we have an autonomy of different businesses. We have different organizations. We have different actual ministries and churches that all fall up under our network, but also the college as well, which is the Midwest Bible College of IPay.
So right now, I know it is now a online university. So now anybody, even outside of Chicago, Illinois, can take advantage of these things. Correct?
Absolutely. As you heard in the name, we are international. And with the help of yourself and others, we are now not just international, but we're looking to go global.
Absolutely. We got if it's not all the way, we ain't gonna do it.
That's it.
And that shout out to my technology company, Neo Lab Technologies, for the development of that. So outside of that, something you mentioned as far as on the political space on making sure people not only vote but understand who they're voting for. So I think that comes, I guess, the opportunity where I could, for the first time, mention an aspect of Chicago Nexus Club that we offer to the community on the public side.
Give them a little bit.
Which is within the Chicago Nexus News, in which we have a scoreboard where we have a sophisticated, what we call political report card.
Yeah.
Where we have a political scoring system, the first ever political scoring system. Like you have the personal FICO scores and credit scores. We have the first ever political report card and scoring system where people can actually pull a personal report card or a politician or whatever and see if they actually qualify for their position.
Wow.
Or the level of qualification and the history behind what they've been doing.
Well, man, I commend you on that. And when I tell you that is huge, reason being is because when you think about politics, especially within our community, there are so many people who are voting off of a name or a commonality. They're not voting for what this person has done. They're not voting for the benefit of our community. A lot of the people aren't even researching.
They don't know
who
how
these
to.
people
A lot of people don't either just don't or don't know what to look for. You see what I mean? Or where to look. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it was absolutely essential, and that's one of the things that we do that I'm most proud of as far as recent developments. Yeah. Of course, we can go on and on. We just talking about right now.
Recent.
Recent.
You heard that part, right? These are the new
recent.
things.
So I think that goes along with what you were saying earlier. So outside of that, I know you're dealing with the mindset things and stuff like that with the youth and people in general, but mainly you target the youth with a lot of your associations as well.
Absolutely.
So give us a little insight on that.
Well, in 2021, I was given a vision from the creator to start this company called Mindset Evolution. And if you look at the two letters of that name of the company, Mindset Evolution, it boils back down to the M and the E, which stands for me. Not necessarily me, but the person, the individual.
Yeah.
And what I do with Mindset Evolution is we help a person to get from where they are to where they're looking to go by showing them how to shift their mindsets. So for so long, Malik, we've heard mind, body, soul. When you look at R&B music, it says mind, body, soul. When you see it written, it's mind, body, soul. And after my studies, I realized that was an improper way to live your life. The mind was never supposed to be first, even though it is strong and it does lead the body. What's leading the mind? And so the spirit should have actually been first. It should be spirit, mind, body. And as we grow our spirit begins to actually cultivate and govern over our mind, which now begins to lead our characteristics and what our body does on an everyday basis. And so for me, yes, I work with a lot of different clients, but the youth is important. Why? Because when my elders are gone and I too become an elder, who's next?
Yeah.
And if we don't worry about tomorrow, then there's a big issue.
That's like
what we're doing.
That's like, you know, that's like disregarding your insurance policies.
That's it.
You see what I mean? Because it's all about the what if factor, or when something happens. So when this transition happens, this is in place type shit. This is going to secure my legacy, my generation, the foundation of everything I've been doing. So yeah, that's what the youth are, and they are one of the most important and vital set of human resources, right? So human resource shouldn't be taken lightly, and we need to do what we need to do to pour into the youth, as well as our elders that's been putting in work, and aligning ourselves with the people and things that we need to align ourselves with to be the best versions of ourselves for the youth and the OGs.
Yes. And that's one of the big keys when you talk about aligning, you know, when you begin to learn that there's a proper way to do things. Like I said, just shifting the space of where the spirit is and that phrase in your mind, and putting your spirit first, that actually puts you in alignment. Because when you create an alignment with your higher power and that source, and it begins to govern over your life, it makes everything else a lot easier. One of the things I definitely love to tell the youth is to stop chasing your dreams. Don't chase a bag. Don't chase a girl or a boy. Don't chase anything. Why? Because if I'm chasing, then that means naturally you're fleeing. And we wonder why we can't get to a position where we're grasping and holding on to the things that we really want in life. And we're not built to chase. We're actually built to manifest. And so that's some of the things that we
magnetically pull things to you.
That's it.
You know, because the closer you get to self, the closer you get to God. The more you chase something outside of self, the further you're moving away from self.
Oh, that's good.
So, you know, outside of that, let's say a lot of things we have going on now. Now we have the Chicago Nexus Club.
Yes.
All right, let's pivot a little bit. Like, okay, the name of the podcast, "Oh Nothing, Demand Everything." When you hear that phrase, "Oh Nothing, Demand Everything," what does that mean to you? Like when you hear that?
Wow. So I actually contemplated that name for a while now, because I kept hearing the phrase and kept hearing the phrase. And I'll be honest, when I first heard it, I thought it was saying own.
Yeah,
nothing.
A lot of people do, yeah.
You know, and unfortunately, that's what it related to me. That in our culture, we've been looked at as owning nothing.
Yeah.
You know, and so to own nothing and then to have major debt and to owe, right? That really says something. But I had to go a little deeper. And being around people like yourself, of course, we can't live on the surface. We got to get a little deeper. And I began to ask myself, what do I owe me? Right? And that's what I took from that, is that all of the things that I owe me to become a greater father, to be a better human being, to grow and keep developing who I am every single day, to progressively make sure that I am a better human every day, is what I got from owe nothing, right? Not just to owe nobody else, but not to be in debt to yourself. 100%. So many times we've waken up and we make these different options for ourselves. Hey, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to be. This is where I want to go. And yet how many people have actually sustainably given that to themselves? You know, we second guess ourselves. We tell ourselves we're not good enough, or some of us don't even feel worthy, right? But to owe yourself absolutely nothing is a great space to be in, outside of not owing the rest of the world. But that also shows your power as well. That's how you get to regain your power, because if you owe someone, or if you owe yourself, then that means that there's still an entity or something that governs over you just slightly, because they have that debt that they're able to hold over your head. And demanding everything,
Because once that debt is cleared.
look, that means now I'm in a position where my power grants me whatever it is that my heart desires, you know. And that's what that really means to me, man, is to owe nothing, not to anyone, not to yourself, most importantly. But once you get to that state that you can actually now seize and demand everything, you don't have to ask, you don't have to wait, you don't have to want. You can demand it and it comes to you right there.
I love that. I love that. I love that. That's probably one of the most thorough breakdowns of that I've gotten thus far, for sure. So people that are not aware, just because you broke it down like that, and because a lot of people do it here and they think it says own nothing.
Right.
So, but there is some a science to owning nothing as well, and we discussed that as far as when we educate people on the private sector.
Yes.
So that comes from that phrase was already taken though. I think that was a Rockefeller phrase, which is own nothing and control everything. So that's like that phrase comes from one of the wealthiest men, that we know as far as here in America, or the world. Own nothing, control everything, and the aspect of that pretty much is saying that with ownership comes liability. So the legal aspect of owning something was a mental construct that was actually designed to keep people, hold people liable for things in relation to certain debts and assets and things like that. So the rich never owned anything per se personally that was tied to that personal legal name that was controlled by said government,
Right.
because the person's government name is essentially the government's name. Government's name means government property, right? So government property, government jurisdiction, government regulation, government rule, government control. So it all boils down to that. So, but although we as a culture, melanated people, we do need to understand still the power of ownership, because like with missing context, people can still get misinterpretation, right? So although
for that clarity, right?
although that science made sense, if you only understand that science without the other side, you'd be like, well, sure, I'm supposed to own nothing anyway. No, it's not about that. It's all about controlling the ownership,
Right.
as it relates to you and your personal capacity. You want to do business with business, you don't want to attach your personal person to your business endeavors.
Man, I've always heard of B2B. I've never heard of B2P. Right? It's business to business. It's never business to person. So that's great right there, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use that one.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now.
But that's us though. It's like, because you think about it, it's like, any office official and stuff like that, they're doing business right?
Right.
Doing business, they're not in their personal capacity, And if you do have a problem, lawsuits and stuff like that is going to be against their bond that's protecting, which is, again, we're talking about assurance again. Insurance and assurance is everything. It's what this is all about, and leveraging every aspect as such. Now, owe nothing is still it's pretty much everything you just said. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep that. You know what I'm saying? It's like because once you clear out all that personal debt period that's tied to you, that you're obligated to, now you're in a position to say, think about it, person owe everybody money, right? You're not in a position of power to say anything because you in debt. You're indebted to whatever that is. But that perspective that you said as far as people being indebted to themselves, shit. Because it's like that's where it starts at. It's like and if you really break it down outside of finances or like just personal commitments, you see what I mean? It's like people desire things. They say, I want to do this or that, but they never take the jump, and they start and they don't finish. So how many things have you started? Are you starting things? Are you finishing just as many things as you're starting? You see what I mean? And committing to the task of making sure you do so type stuff, as a personal thing, not for anybody else. So that's extraordinarily major. So appreciate that. So okay, now Chicago Nexus. I know. Again, all this is brand new and stuff like that as far as fresh for all of us. This is like a year inception on this new organization. You coming in and being an honorable member of this association. What do you take from that? Like, what do you see the benefit for us and for people out our community and people that we're in position for?
Well, the most important thing that I can relate this to is an old phrase that we all have heard before. And that phrase said that together we stand, and that divided we fall. The second phrase that I can remember when I think about the Chicago Nexus Club is that there's strength in numbers, right? And then the last one is that iron sharpens iron. So when I look at the Chicago Nexus Club, man, I look at what's next, right? There's always been organizations, there's always been groups, there's always been clubs, there's always been all of these different entities that are out there. But as a world, right? We're always looking for what's next. And so Chicago Nexus Club is actually what I see as what's next. Why? Because we're not dealing with today. Chicago Nexus Club does not deal with today.
That's very
We're
important.
dealing with 10, 15 years down the line. But you guys have also comprised yourselves as a club. We have comprised ourselves as a group and an organization of some of the most prolific
People
and powerful human beings on this planet. And each of us are great in our own lane. Not one of us does the exact same as the other person. And that's what I find to be probably the biggest thing here, is that although you're a sword and I'm a katana, we both can cut. We both are sharp, but yet when we rub them together, we actually get to sharpen each other, man. So
we got a whole arsenal now.
I want to thank you for this honor, man, and this pleasure just to be a part of something so prolific and powerful, man. This is definitely game changing, and I can tell you now, this might only be a year in, but you are far beyond your years of where this club is going.
Man, I appreciate you guys. You know, just even being able to see the vision, not only being able to adopt it, with us and stuff like that to become one, is because, you have to really be able to see it to kind of like, we can't teach you this.
Man.
You gotta really see it. You have to see it, it's not just like this cool thing, right? It has to be seen as a necessity.
Yeah.
It has to be seen taken as an absolute necessity in order for somebody to really play the position correctly.
And that was one of the key things, is that not only do you have to be able to visually see what Chicago Nexus is, but it took me to actually see who I would be in it.
Oh man, that's nice.
Not just what the club is. Who am I in this club?
Break
You
that
see
down.
what I mean?
Break that down.
So when you think about it, man, as an organization, a lot of people come into organizations or groups about what can it offer me, right? What can it do for me?
Okay, so what are the benefits?
So what comes with it? When I looked at the Chicago Nexus Club, it was more of what can I offer, right? When you think about joining a team, I guarantee you no sports team out here has a person that's like, well, what can the team give me? No, it's what can you bring to the team? That's the difference here with Chicago Nexus versus any other group.
Man, that's deep. That's man, right on the head. I think I want to share a little bit behind the purpose and intent behind it.
Yeah.
It became like an absolute necessity without me needing any type of external validation and stuff like that. Again, we visionaries. Like once you see it, and then that leap and walk in faith, right?
That's it.
So it's like I have absolute certainty, right, of the direction in which the world is going, right? Especially if we have, the insight and being able to leverage the aspects of our own personal experience in life. So based upon, and then they say, history repeats itself. So I know within my time frame and I've been able to be privileged to be able to see certain aspects of history in relation to, community, government, technology, and things like that. And I know what's about to happen in some way, form, or fashion, right? So it's like, sometimes we have to be the innovators to create things for tomorrow as opposed to waiting until tomorrow comes.
That's it.
And being subject to whatever tomorrow brings us, right?
Man.
So that's why I'm like, you know what? I'm not about to replay my own history, right? And not committing to my own faith, going back to committing to self. It's like I've seen this before in a different aspect, in a different light. I have certainty, right? That with this and these type of people, that we have a guaranteed aspect of level of positioning, power, and respect out here in our communities and within our own organizations and within each individual city and state.
That's it.
Facts.
That's true.
It's just facts.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? And the scalability and the potential of growth is going to be expeditious. Like businesses could take forever to scale. This is not a business. This is collective. These are literally trains, individual trains coming together,
right?
on one track.
That's it.
You see what I mean? How can we not? You see what I mean? So that's what's different. And then another thing is that, like of course, I'm not racist, but we gotta learn from other races. So we gotta understand the science in learning from our counterparts. So what I've learned from our Caucasian friends and stuff like that is that, first of all, they put a lot of time in research and development of the so-called black man and black woman the race of black or the melanated species. So what I've, they show that in like movies like Avatar and stuff like that. It goes way back, but in order to study something, right, you have to study. In order to master something, you have to study it.
That's it.
So ultimately, our so-called previous masters, when it comes to slavery, actually are still, there's a reason why they still are technically masters of us, because they've taken the time to master us, because they know how we think.
That's it.
They know how we think. They know what we like. They know what we like to eat, what we like to drink, what we like. These are, because this is the information that we feed their algorithm. So now they have a science as to what to feed us back.
Yeah.
It's like it's brilliant. You know what I'm saying? It's brilliant.
I can't be mad at it for it.
But we have to understand it. So on the flip side, I've learned that we can't be, because somebody might, well, it's Chicago Nexus, all melanated, all black. Well, I would say predominantly, are we anti anything else? Absolutely not, because that would be a limitation.
Well, if I may, Malik, I would say that Chicago Nexus isn't predominantly black.
It can be.
We're predominantly human.
Human.
There's only one race, really, y'all. And if we get to understanding that, then we'll be much better off as a people to begin with, right?
At that point.
And that'll do away with racism, because there's really only one race. Mm-hmm. Now, how light or dark you are depends on other variables. Mm-hmm. But in the end of the day, there's only one race, and that only true race is the human race.
I love it, and those are facts. Now, so we got facts versus reality. So we're one, right? But we are still a set of people in the world that has now been conditioned to still be limited by way of race or racial limitations. So because of that, we have to leverage the side of that science. Again, they study. We don't put in. I see most black organizations be so black that they're colorblind.
But see, we don't even have to put the race on it. We can actually go all the way down to, how do you win a war? The number one way to win a war is to know more about your enemy than your enemy knows about you. Mm-hmm. It goes right back to what you're saying, which is becoming an avid studier. Mm-hmm. When you go look at the book, for those that are spiritual or religious, right? The book says to study, to show thyself approved unto the Creator, a workman that needeth not be ashamed. Right? Mm-hmm. So if we're constantly doing the things that we're doing, and we're beginning to study and develop more of the understanding of who we are, where we come from, what the facts really are, it'll eliminate a lot of those things.
Facts, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I got another idea on it when again, experience. So the experience was when I was venturing into other organizations. Okay. And a lot of those organizations weren't, you see what I mean? So it's understanding facts, but being able to see certain realities. So to me, that's the true science of like awareness, as far as worldly awareness type. Yeah. Because I'm able to pull information and understand it based upon what I see. I'm like, oh, I get it now. Put it like this. Even the aspect that we even use the word club in it, right? That's strategic. But because in all aspects, we got to think about something. Because when when people hear the word club, usually they think of club, traditional club. What people don't understand is that every single person is a part of a club, whether you know it or not.
That's it.
Now, the question is, have you been paying attention or paying admission to be in the wrong club or the right club?
That's it, because you're paying dues.
You're still paying.
You're paying dues.
Because the question is, oh, that's too expensive. If you really do your balance sheet and bookkeeping, you realize that, especially us, because we become consumers. A lot of our people. Again, I'm only based upon the fact I love my black people.
Come on.
And we spend a lot of money on Jordans and blah, a lot of stuff that we don't need just to show and feel.
I saw somebody pay for a $300 hairdo. Do you hear me?
And then question. Things like if they get a knock on the door from a trust and estate planning consultant or a life insurance agent, right? Well, I don't know. You second guess that necessities, but
you ain't second guess that $300.
That's what I'm saying. So like these are the conditions. But I realized that that
And let's make sure it's clear. We have no problems with you guys spending your money on your hair. Just know.
no, of course,
It's okay.
of course. But
We're just saying to make sure that you're making sure that those right choices and
priorities.
elements are there, and that you spend that same time
Yeah.
with getting your knowledge and information. I ain't want nobody to cut the show off because we bad. They think we bashing women.
No,
That's
no,
not
no.
what we doing.
That's not even not at all. It just in general, man or woman, we have to do a self-analysis on ourselves.
That's
as
it.
well as our people to it's yearly assessment, it's daily assessment to determine are we on the right path. We're okay.
You can't help without the assessment. That's the first thing they give you at the hospital.
That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. So again, like when we go into entrepreneurship and business and stuff like that, as I've learned this from my white mentors, where it's like, they not only plan for success, they also plan for failures.
Yes.
So they plan when the business may need to possibly pivot or X, Y, Z. We tend to only get caught up and say, oh, this can be lucrative, we can make some money. But okay, but what if? Are we probably playing devil's advocate on pros and cons and stuff like that? So it's just those things. But again, the club aspect, the point I was making with that is that inside of this thing that they call a club, damn near, depending on the club you're talking about, they have every aspect of everything in that environment.
Yeah.
You need your hair cut. You need a salon. You want to go swimming. You need to go to the gym. You need somewhere to sleep. You need it's literally a world.
That's
right?
it.
And this is why you don't bump into certain people in regular establishments. There's a place that people go. There's a place where successful people hang.
Yes.
Everybody hangs, but they make sure they hang within the ramps of their club.
That's it.
And everybody, so that means by default, everybody that I bump into at this restaurant, I already know that they're a member of what? The club.
This club, yeah.
So that's going to be the one common interest that we have together, no matter what. Now, if we don't have that understanding, that means that we just out here just randomly, and hoping I hope I meet somebody one day and I can take off, from there. But you can intentionally place yourself in position where the right people are there.
Hey, man, I think you might need to say that again. You can intentionally do what?
Place yourself in positions where you meet the right people or access the right resources.
That's good right there, bro. That's good.
But this is a recent epiphany. Like, wait a minute, this is literally a club, but I realized throughout going through them, we don't have a club.
Oh.
We don't have one. It's like, all right, it's like, because it boiled down to like, damn, we still got to do our own. That's what it boils down to. It's not going to change until we have our own.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? And it's gotten to this point because they've put in the work to do this. Then in order to be in controlling position now and to be able to control the narratives, have the restrictions, have their codes, and everybody's not welcome into these clubs, even if you pay your administrative fee. And I'm like, damn, I got all this going on. How y'all deny me? How y'all, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They have a right to,
As we do.
And that's if we have our own stuff. You know what I'm saying?
But see, that's where you go back to that being able to demand everything. They could have opened doors or closed doors, but now they no longer have that autonomy and that power when it comes to us because we're not knocking on your doors anymore. We created our own. That's demanding it. That's it.
But we could have gave up. We could have been like, they didn't let us in, right? We could have just been like, they didn't let us in. They said no, right?
But then what others don't know is that since being a member, some of those clubs that have closed their doors have begun to open their doors to us.
Exactly.
I'll speak about one, the International Lions Club. Mm-hmm. When people look at them, they are definitely not predominantly made up of people that look like us. Mm-hmm. But they are a community service-based organization. Mm-hmm. And as of recently, they just allowed us now to start our own Lions Club. So on the 23rd of this month, we'll actually be receiving our charter from the International Lions Club as the new Southland Cyber Lions organization internationally. So yeah, I'll tell you, being a part of this club has actually opened up doors to be a part of other organizations. Not get into other clubs,
right,
but into other organizations.
By affiliation.
I don't need another club. Mm-hmm. I'm good.